Hello, everybody. Welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. I am your host, Jimmy Smith. Thank you for clicking by. We are on a video about all things fizzy, sparkly, and bubbly. We are talking about the sparkling wines for the diploma course of the WSET. So this is very in-depth for those of you studying the diploma, or if you're just fascinated by this topic, you'll find a lot of information here. So yes, we are looking at Italy for sparkling wines of the diploma, and we have 7 seasons or series to go through for Italy. Prosecco will cover the first 3 series, and then Asti, Lambrusco, Franciacorta, and Trento DOC. So we're looking here at series 1 on Prosecco, and it's split into 5 parts. It's really going into setting the scene of Prosecco before we start to look at the DOCs and DOCGs in the next series. If you have any comments and questions, please do get in touch by commenting on this video below. Great to hear from you. Make sure you click like and you click also subscribe, because we really want to see those fingers. This video is available as free content. Any other video in this series, that's 2 to 5, are available only on my e-learning portal. That's over at www.winewithjimmy.com. Well, let's look at where Prosecco lies within Italy, and then we'll go through a little bit of history to set the scene, as it were. So, Prosecco is principally made from the Glera grape variety in the northeast of Italy, and made predominantly with the tank method. You'll see I've got a map of the Italian peninsula here. We're highlighting the northeast, which covers 2 regions. That's Friuli Venezia Giulia and Veneto. So that's the location we're looking at. Let's go a bit closer with a slightly more detailed map. Now, the large and quantitatively important interregional appellation of Prosecco was created in 2009, or rather refined, and it replaced the existing Prosecco IGTs and put them under a single and geographically expanded Prosecco appellation, Prosecco DOC. Now, as I mentioned, it's within Veneto and also within Friuli Venezia Giulia. But most of the production lies in Veneto, specifically around the city of Treviso. 9 provinces are allowed to make wine under Prosecco DOC. You'll see them all here: Trieste, Gorizia, Udine, Pordenone, Belluno, Treviso, Venezia, Padova, and Vicenza. So they're your 9 provinces. Styles first, before history. It generally has a light to medium minus intensity with things like apple, pear, a light bodied, and a medium to medium plus acidity, or a low to medium alcohol. In terms of sweetness, the wines range from brut to demi-sec, with extra dry being the most common. And I will go through what they all really mean later in the series. But typically one will find some sugar in Prosecco. The wines are mainly acceptable to good quality in Prosecco DOC and good to very good in DOCG. The DOC wines are normally light in intensity, and I mentioned the lighter sort of characteristics, where the DOCG wines have a little bit more complexity behind them. Next up is just to mention another couple of terminologies here. You can find them in fully sparkling, that's spumante, and then also lower pressure, so lightly sparkling, frizzante. Okay, and there are others actually, but they're the 2 major terminologies we must look out for. Let's get on to some history. And I love that quote from Pliny the Elder: "The truth comes out in wine." Certainly a technique for extracting the truth from me is to get a couple of good bottles of wine down me. Now, Pliny the Elder, 23 to 79 AD, wrote many important things about history and geography, but also wine, and wrote the story of the Empress Livia, 58 BC to 29 AD, the wife of Emperor Octavian Augustus. She reached a venerable age in comfort, maintaining herself in good health thanks to the qualities of the legendary Puccino wine, I suppose it's how it's pronounced, loved by the Romans and coming from the Prosecco area. Since the mid-13th century, the place name Prosec or Proseccum, but more modernly Prosecco, referred to a small town bordering to the southeast with the area of Trieste and to the north of Duino as well. So it is in that area right on the far eastern side on the border of Slovenia. Coming into more modern times, the birth of modern Prosecco is attributed to the effort and creative genius of Carpini Malverti, and specifically Antoine Carpini, who founded the Conegliano School of Enology in 1876. He applied and refined the tank method approach for the production of sparkling Prosecco. And of course, history for Prosecco starts around there, 150 years ago. Now, into the modern times, Prosecco has, of course, been an absolutely massive and huge commercial success that in turn has led to the revision of the DOCG regulations. And that happened in 2009, mainly for protection. Paris Hilton's Rich brand, you'll see it there on the left, was the major impetus behind the change. The company that made this brand, being Austrian, claimed they sourced grapes from Treviso, and the product made the Prosecco Consorzio recognized that the grape name could not be controlled. So therefore, changes happened. Today, by the way, Rich Prosecco that you see, it's an old can, has changed the beverage's name to Secco. So it's called Secco instead of Prosecco. The principal variety now is officially known as Glera, which gives them that wiggle room for protection. It was previously known as Prosecco. The name was changed so the Prosecco could be used to designate defined areas that were entitled to use the name and to prevent other regions and countries from exploiting the success of that name. And of course, you could do a bit of research around this, and you'll see that a few Australian producers are producing Prosecco, and of course, it's causing animosity amongst the ranks of the Italians, ruffling their feathers. So that brings me just to a short conclusion there for our first video. Please do join me for looking at the climate and grape growing and vineyard management coming up in the next videos, along with the key grape variety Glera in part 3 and winemaking techniques as well, generalized. If you do have any comments or questions, please do get in touch. You can comment on this video below. Make sure you click like and you click subscribe. We really want to see those fingers. And if you do find yourself in the UK, come and say hello for a glass or bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.